occupation is at the moment, and go with that.
Hi, my name's Mel. I am 35 years old. I'm originally from Wanganui in New Zealand, but currently live in Blacktown, Sydney, New South Wales. Shane and I together have 8 kids. 5 are biologically his and 3 are biologically mine. My occupation is a stay-at-home mom, firstly. I also have my own small clothing brand called God's Crew Threads, and I am also support to ministry for Blacktown New Life Christian Church.
So let's start with the first thing. What is it like to be a mother of 8 with not being a Christian before with the 8, and then now being trying to live a Christian life with the 8 now?
Hard. I feel like it's even harder actually as a Christian, because you are trying to teach them in a way that you haven't lived your whole life, and you're trying to teach them something that you've only just learned, or you're still learning yourself. So when they go against that and rebel, it's harder to discipline them, because worldly would have been a whole different way of disciplining them than what they get disciplined now.
So let's use it as an example then. If your daughter come home and she's got a hickey on her neck and you're living in a worldly world, how would you discipline her?
Probably the same way that I got disciplined. I got kicked out, so she would have got kicked out.
So you didn't handle it that way, because this is a real scenario that happened.
No.
She came home with a hickey, but you were a Christian mother, so how did you handle it?
It just went down like, what's that on your neck? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know it's your neck? Oh, I didn't know it was there. Cool. Well, you're going to have to tell Dad that it's there. That's literally how it went down. There was no, like... I was angry, I'll be honest, because I talk to her all the time about that stuff. And not about how sex before marriage is bad, because obviously it is, but I can't exactly say that all the time. But more about know your worth, and don't be having sex in parks and in backs of cars and bushes like that, and that God loves her and wants her to love herself and have her identity in God, so she needs to make sure that her partner now and her future partners respect her the same way.
Yeah, that's the conversation that we had with her together, wasn't it? Hickeys lead to sex, sex leads to immorality, and morality leads to disobeying God, and she doesn't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very true. Let's move on to the second one then. You said you were a small business owner. How was that journey started out? What even started that journey to be wanting to do that? Then how does being a Christian in a work environment differ from how you would have ran your business if you were? I told you, cousin, I've got all the questions.
Well, first and foremost, I told you when we first got together that I wanted to have my own business, and I've wanted to have my own business my whole entire life, because I don't believe in working for other people to make them money while I'm still struggling. That's what it really came down to. I really wanted to be an example for our kids and say that if you want something bad enough and you work at it, then your ideas will come to fruition. Now, obviously, as a Christian, ain't nothing happening without God's backing. And if it's not to God's plan, then it ain't gonna happen. So this small business that I have created has taken me a very long time to set in motion, because I had to teach myself how to do business in Australia. I've had to teach myself all the ins and outs of tax, marketing, products, everything that encompasses a small business. And I'm very actually lucky to have quite a lot of friends that are all self-employed or have small businesses or are accountants. So I've taken my time to learn from them and get the information that I needed. So, how it's changed from the original small business that I wanted. I have never been a person that likes to be in front of a camera. So doing this interview is very, very hard right now. Businesses require marketing. They require, well, nowadays, having a social presence. They require putting your entire life on social media. And I suppose in a way, you're called to do that as a Christian as well. To use your life as a testimony to show people that you're different. And then share what God has done in your life. So that other people can witness your testimonies as well. And then, contrary to what many think, I don't actually like talking to people, really, like doing small talk. I'm a very introvert type of person, so that's also why this is hard for me. But if I just forget that the camera's recording, it's easier to just remember that I'm just talking to you. So I suppose because God calls us to be talking about Him all the time, this was my way. If I just wear it, that starts conversations with people.
Definitely. It's a great little idea for an introvert to use their creative gift to do it. So then thirdly, and this is probably what I've seen your biggest challenge that you've taken on, even though you've got 8 children and a small business, it doesn't, I think this one outweighs the other 2 by a long mile. And that is what your job description was, that you just said that you're a support worker to ministry workers, which in our church there is 7?
No.
6?
5.
5. And the apprentices?
5.
With them. Alright. So 5 ministry workers, 3 full-time, an admin, which we didn't mention just then, and 2 apprentice ministry workers, yeah? That's how it goes. So then, how do you support them through all of their ministry work?
Okay. Let's just start off like giving a description of what a ministry worker is for people that don't know. In our church in particular, and I can only talk about our church because the only other church that I've been to is the Ringatu Church, and it operates completely different to New Life. A ministry worker in our church is our 2 pastors, which is Glenn and Stephen, our ministry worker, which is Kara Lee, the MTS boys, which are training apprentices, which is David and Ned. So those 5 specifically are the ministry workers in our church, and they just cover really spiritual maturity and how people are growing in the church and what they're learning from the Bible. So they're all the ones that do all the sermons, small group studies, anything to do with the Bible, really. How do I support them? I don't really know. Lots of people always ask me that question. And I have lots of people telling me that that's what I do, but I don't really know, to be honest.
Well, let's just start off with Monday. What do you do on a Monday?
Monday mornings we have staff meetings where we go over new people who have come to church, whether they're like interested in religion or they've come from another church, they've come from another religion. We have had quite a lot of those lately.
Converts.
Not this one. Monday morning we also go over how everyone's doing, I suppose, like the ministry team itself, how everyone's doing in the ministry team, but also if there are congregational members that are going through stuff. Like at the moment there's quite a lot of congregational members that are in hospital because we have quite a lot of older congregational members. We just went to a wedding yesterday, so that got brought up at the meeting as well. There's another meeting coming up, another wedding coming up at the end of the year. Yeah.
So that's just to do around the meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then after the meeting, you what? Go in.
After that meeting, I either have training with Kira Lee,
Yep.
which we are working through the book of Developing Leadership, I think it's called, and how you do that in a church. Or I go and do one-to-one with someone, or I go and organize an event, or sometimes if it's a long meeting, I just go home and defrag.
Yep. So that's Monday. So there's a lot involved in just Monday. So there's a lot of support going on in and around. That's just Monday. Tuesday then looks like?
Tuesday then looks like my day off, but I have to do our family.
Yep. So you don't get a day off.
No.
You do our family, yeah? Then Wednesday, you start doing what?
Wednesday, start prepping for stuff on Sunday.
Or you start breaking down Monday's meeting?
Yeah, we start breaking down Monday's meeting and my to-do list from Monday's meeting.
And that to-do list lasts one day? No, it doesn't.
No.
It rolls into Thursday.
Thursday I also have one-to-one, my own one-to-one, where
you and Lisa are going through?
me and Auntie Raina are going through the book of Acts.
So she's your mentor?
Yeah, so she's my mentor and I'm the mentoree. And then on Fridays, our kids have jam, which is Jesus and Me, and youth, so I'm prepping for that because having 7 children at home is chaotic. Saturdays is a day off, so Tuesdays and Saturdays are our day off, but they're not really, or they're my days off, but they're not really, because I have to spend it with our family. And then Sundays is work around the sermon.
So, as much as you just said you don't know what your role is in ministry, I think you just said a big chunk of it right there. Your whole work is devoted to helping these ministry workers. You have a day off one day a week where you're not devoting that time. So that's why what people are saying to you is they see you already supporting ministry workers. You just gave an insight into exactly what everybody's talking about. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. So you've shared who you are, you've shared where you've come from, you've shared who you sort of are now with your work, with your family, with your Christian journey and where you're going with that. But now let's go all the way back to the start of your Christian journey and let's just hear a bit about how did you even come over the barriers of your own you're a spiritual person before Christ, then you had the Ringatu faith in the background in your mind as well, and now you've got a third, more prominent one now, which is Christianity. What brought you through all of that, and what have you learned from all three of them to get you where you are now?
Okay, so let's start before Christianity. Before Christianity, I was spoiled brat. I'll be honest. I was not nasty person, but I just didn't take anyone's shit, and I didn't appreciate being talked to like shit. So I was always a fighter, not with my hands, always with my mouth. And life was just rubbish, really, to be honest. Life was really rubbish. Lingatu has always been in my family because of where we come from. I have never delved super deep into it because I wasn't interested in it, but I just knew it just because of, we weren't even brought up in it actually, because mum and dad kept us away from it because mum was from Rātana. So it was always a conflict to have us be doing both. So mum took it on her shoulders to not get us involved in any. So though I'm from Otoko and it's Lingatu hard there, I grew up in Morehu surrounding, not by choice either, it was just where mum and dad went to live, and then we just became part of that community as well, and Morehu hard there. So it's just a culmination of both throughout my whole entire life. And without even asking questions, people have just been teaching me the whole way. And then when we got together, because you came from a Christian background, I remember saying to you, because when we came to Australia, you wanted to go to church, and I was like, nah, I'll burn in hell, you know, same shit that everyone says. And we actually did fight about it numerous times. I can laugh about it now, but back then I couldn't. And then I remember when we started going to New Life, it was just like I'm just doing this to stay with my partner so I don't lose my partner, and because I'm in a foreign country, I don't have anything, I don't have any financial means or anything. My whole everything, I was dependent on you. Me and my kids and my dad, we're all dependent on you. So that's why I started going to New Life. I remember the day though when I just got it. I don't know, everything just clicked in my brain, and I realized that I was a rubbish person. And though I used to say that I was doing everything for everyone else, I wasn't really. I was doing it for myself. And just how much of a shitty person I had been my whole entire life. And I remember, because I was standing at the bus stop after dropping Shane off to preschool, and just standing there, and I remember crying. And I was at the bus stop all by myself in Blacktown. And then from there, things just started to fall into place. Like Tonga came and said that she wanted to do her pro-faith thing, and her and Lucy and I, we all did it together. Glenn made us do it in 4 days, so that was fast-tracked, and then all three of us professed our faith within like 6 weeks of that course, so that was fast-tracked. And then since then, it's just been full on.
So let's dive into that, because you just explained before now how much, to me and to other people, it looks like you are heavily involved. Yeah. You're the only one that doesn't see how heavily involved you are when it comes to being a ministry support worker. Glenn sees it, Auntie Ray sees it, especially Auntie Rayna sees it the most, because she's in an intimate relationship with you like I am, you know, like other than the touch on that. Let's touch on how much Auntie Ray has been there with you from your day one and what day one looked like through till she was there for you for the wedding and she's still there for you now. And let's see how that has also helped, like we said, she's a mentor, helped you go from a professing Christian to where you are as a support worker now as well.
So,
let's go with how important a one-to-one is for people that don't understand.
Auntie Raina, I love her. Like, makes me want to get teary with all my heart. I remember when you and I were looking at life groups on the board, and she just came over and she was like, nope, you're coming to ours. It's this one. It's Brian and Ingrid's. Which now looking back and in the moment, because Shane and I used to argue all the time before we went to life group, so I never went to life group. I just sit in the car because I was still angry. But now looking back, I see how important that life group was for our whole journey. So Brian and Ingrid, Brian was our old pastor, and Ingrid, man, she was a weapon. I'm shattered at myself that I didn't put myself in a position to learn from her more. But from that life group, because I always felt like, and it's a selfish thing, and I'm going to say that, when we went into church and we were because right from the beginning, we've always hung out with all these really mature Christians, and I always felt really dumb. I didn't know what they were talking about, even though they were dumbing it down so I could understand. I just felt like it wasn't my place. Auntie Raina, on the other hand, has always come. She instead of dumbing it down, she's dumbed herself down and put herself in my shoes so that she can be able to teach me better. And I feel like that's what helped us grow. Also, her not just being like, oh, you're just a mum of 8, like that's your whole identity. You're just Shane's wife, that's your whole identity. She's taken the time to get to know me. So in our one-to-ones, though we still read the Bible and everything, a lot of it over the years has just been her and I talking.
Or her building
a relationship. Yeah. And so we're going on 4 years, I think, doing one-to-one. And though I encourage everyone else to change their one-to-ones every now and then, I'm like, nah, I'm not changing mine. She's the only person that actually knows me in the church, and I feel like...
I think it's gone past mentoring.
Yeah, because she's like my mum.
Yeah, she's literally...
Yeah.
But carry on.
And so she challenges me like my mum, tells me off like my mum. She's there when I want to have a suki bubble like my mum used to be. When they go away, I can just ring her or text her, and it's the same. Her and I have the same relationship that me and my mum had before my mum died. And I need that because stuff be out here getting hard when you're in a whole nother country with no family around.
So let's push on to why was she at the wedding?
Oh, so she was at the wedding because just after COVID, her and I had met up, and I was saying to her, I was moaning actually, to be honest. I was moaning about how you were going to your family because none of...
meaning my brother, sister, mother.
Yeah, so but your family, your immediate family, because you're the baby of 9, had flown in to support you, and my family didn't. And so I was moaning about, I was hurt, I'll be honest. And so she said to me that, in her very matter-of-factly way, nope, that's not happening. You're not staying home and dressing the kids when you're getting married. I'm going to come pick you up and you're dressed in your bridesmaid and you're going to come to my house and I'm going to do this for you and this and this and this and this. And then she said to me, ask your dad first though if that's okay, if I can do that for you. I want to be your mum for you on your wedding day. Which was super amazing because sometimes of the times I get overlooked because we have so many kids.
For me, that was so big in the way of we get taught so much through God's word to be hospitable, right? And not just to strangers and not just to the ones we love, but to our congregation. Auntie Ray showed me, as your husband, what that truly actually looked like. Like for her to step up and do that is why when I thanked her on the wedding day, I got full emotional because that was just the joy, you know. Like, to see somebody do it in practice is so different to just seeing it and reading it, you know. When you see somebody do it in real life, it's unbelievable. So then now, how does Auntie Ray now help you with all of the stuff that you go through in your ministry work as well? So now that you just talked about all that ministry support that you give, how does she support you to continue to do that, do you think? Well, I already know how she does it. I want you to explain.
I feel like mostly with telling me off, to be honest.
Yeah, that is it.
Her answer was always and has always been, your first ministry is a mum. That's what God gave to you, and that's what you should work on the most. Which is hard because with 5 boys in the house or 4 boys in the house, it's not easy.
Sometimes I act like a boy too.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
And then with Dad and Daniel on top of that, it's really not easy. But then comes she has so much life experience and has dealt with so many people whilst being a Christian. Not dealt with is the wrong word. Worked with so many people, and she's always worked with people that are on the fringe,
broken,
or the super broken people, or what society would call the weirdos. She's always worked with those type of people, which helps me and teaches me. Because I always, I put myself in that box anyway, because I'm not like mainstream in any way. So it helps, she just helps to equip me with more stuff. And then when she breaks down the Bible so that I can understand it, I'm like, yeah, that makes heaps more sense than what I was thinking.
So the biggest one for me that I see Auntie Ray do for you, and as a husband, I'm so grateful to her, and I'm always going to be grateful to her, because she just looks out for you.
Yeah.
She always asks you and makes sure that you're okay and you're not taking on too much.
Yeah.
And that's what you need sometimes. You need somebody to remind you of that.
Just to reality check you.
For like you, it's too easy to keep just taking on stuff because you're so used to it and you can handle it. But even if you can handle it, you still need somebody just to remind you, you know, just don't take on more than you can handle. And there's no issue in saying, no, I can't this time. And you still need people to do that for you, because if you don't have anyone doing that for you, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get, you know, we've seen that through other ministry workers and ministry helpers. I'm very grateful to Auntie Randa for everything she does for you and for us. Just watch, as we found out yesterday at the wedding, what she does for you, she does for me, because now we're one flesh.
Yeah.
That's the truth, it's the reality, and I love that. Right, we're back. We've touched on who you are,
Yeah.
where you're at now,
Europe.
how you got there, who supported you to get there through one-to-one discipleship, who you now help out with one-to-one discipleship, because you do both, which is great. So now let's hear how life groups, because you touched on that with Auntie Raina, that's where you met her through life group. You met other great mature Christian women as well through that. So let's hear, because now you're actually a co-life group leader. So now you yourself and me help lead a life group. So we actually take the Bible study sometimes, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we sit there, you do a lot of background work for that. So let's see why you would, one, want to be a life group leader, and 2, how you help in the background, and 3, what co-leadership looks like in your life group, and how you saw leadership in life groups before that. Because we've been in 3 now, so let's sort of see where you go with the 3.
Let me start with, I never actually want to do anything. God makes me do it, and if God don't make me do it, my husband makes me do it, or Auntie Raina makes me do it, or Glenn makes me do it.
And we're all godly people.
Right? So if I'm not listening to God, I'm listening to one of them. Life groups. In a context is supposed to be a small amount of people that meet weekly or fortnightly to study sermons that have been preached in church. This year alone we've done the 7 churches. We've done, what else have we done? Prayer.
Series.
We've done a lot actually, and we're only in the 8th month of the year. In a month's time we'll be doing studies on parables. So that's basically what they are. What our life group looks like is we have 3 sets or 3 couples that are all co-lead one life group. We have one actual leader, I suppose you would call it, or actual leading couple, which is Maddie and Vilma, which have become our auntie and uncle, big brother and big sister, nan and koro, anything really. And through this life group, our relationship with them has grown so much, it's not even funny. And then the other couple that leads with us as well is the Gaylards. And Andrea honestly is like my big sister. She gives me all the one-ups as well with her eyebrows and with her words. Jamie is like our big brother. And we're so blessed to have all 4 of them in our life. And the people in our life group are so blessed to have them be in their lives as well. So our life group currently looks like we have 17 people in it, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's 18. Consistently. It's mixed ages. The youngest one being 19, I think. Right up to, how old's me? 60?
Nearly retired.
60 something. We have mixed nations, so we have Filo, Maori, Uruguayan, Australian, Dutch, German, Fijian, Lebanese. Where's Sharon's one from?
Sri
Lankan. We just have all these people that come together fortnightly on a Sunday. We all bring food because that's the best way to have discussions is on full stomachs. We go through the studies, we share our thoughts on the studies, but we also share our application for those studies. We share, basically our life group just does life together, to be honest. We don't just meet up on Sundays, we meet up many other times during the week. We go to dinners for each other, we have birthdays together, we help each other move. So that's our life group. Our life group compared to other life groups that we've been in is completely different. It's a whole new concept. We are currently the only life group out of 11 that have co-leaders, which is working well too, because Maddie and Vilma just went on a 7-week trip. And Andrea, Jamie, Shane and I, we all co-led the life group while they were away. Like Shane just said, I do a lot of the back work, but now that Manning's back, he's doing that as well, so I get to step away and have time away from that. We're away today and they have life group today. So Maddie and Vilma and Jamie and Andrea are leading the life group today. It's just different. Our life group's just different. It's family. It's not even life group.
So what you've touched on there is that your life group is now like a family, community, village scenario.
Yeah.
We all help one another, we all help each other out, and we're always there for each other, which is great.
Yeah.
So now that's where you are with that life group, that's actually, so one-to-one discipleship led you into ministry work, and now life group, life and leadership has now led you into pastoral care.
Yeah.
So now explain to people why you're so passionate about pastoral care and how you've ended up here. How do they say it? Organically, you've ended up here.
So pastoral caring actually comes from the Bible in Acts, and it's when they first started the church, and the 12 apostles, they couldn't preach the word and grow the church as well as do the hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
So they created elders. No, not elders, deacons. We call them deacons. And so the deacons are the hands-on people of the church. If someone needs a ride somewhere, the deacons are the people to go to. If someone needs help with paying their rent, deacons are the ones to go to. Same with if they just need a little bit more food till the next week, that's the same thing. So in this role as a deacon, you are also supposed to pastorally care for people. So pastorally caring now in our church just means that you have people that you check up on to make sure that they're okay, that their spiritual maturity is still okay, or if they haven't come to church for a month, you just ring them up or text them and just be like, what's happening? Are you okay? Some people don't have rides to church, so you could help them get to church. Some people are struggling, because let me just add that being a Christian is not easy. Every day we are tempted with stuff. Our own brain fights against us. Our own heart fights against us. So when we're not living in a community and we don't have pastoral carers caring for this community,
how do we succeed?
People just slip through the gaps. So that's how we end up as pastoral carers, because we pastorally care for people anyways. We are always checking up on our friends group or family group. We are always having people over or setting up dinners and stuff for people. We just use our gifts really for what God gave them to us to use for, to be honest.
So did you receive any pastoral care through the beginning of your journey with God?
Oh, we've received heaps. Not during COVID, but in the beginning we did.
Yeah.
We had 2 people that just loved on us, and we didn't know that was actual pastoral care until like recently. Yeah, Glenn and Beck were big for that, and Auntie Raina obviously. But Glenn and Beck had us over so many times it wasn't even funny. Glenn played referee for our arguments so many times it wasn't even funny. And now we're friends, but I feel like at the beginning he was doing what God told him to do.
Definitely. So to wrap that all up, where do you value God in your relationship with Him, and how does that impact the 3 areas we just talked about? You being a mother, you being a business owner, and you being a ministry support worker.
Where do I value God? Well, without God, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Without God, we wouldn't be having this interview, to be honest. I'm going to go as far as to say without God, we wouldn't even be together.
Yeah.
So, I have for a very, very long time just let God take control. One, because I'm lazy. Two, because if I'm doing it for Him, then I'm doing it for the right reason. Like, there's no way about that. Three, even though I just said being a Christian is not easy, doing it with God is easy. He helps you just to be able to, what's the word, like, keep everything in perspective. Because I'll be honest, I used to be a spoonhead, like a big spoonhead, and argue about everything and get offended by everything, and God just keeps that in check.
And how does it help you be a mother?
By not being a spoonhead.
Yeah.
Because having 8 kids is not easy.
So he keeps your emotions in check and...
Yeah.
It's definitely... And how does he help you with your small business?
I don't even know, to be honest. Like, I know that it wouldn't even be a thing without him. But because I give so much to support the ministry and all this other stuff, my business doesn't get as much as it should do.
Yeah. But who makes you okay? You'd never be okay with that.
Oh.
On your own strength, would you?
No.
You'd want it to grow instantly. That's you as a person. You don't like to see things sitting in limbo. Whereas this thing is sat in limbo.
For 2 years.
And you're happy with that. Because you understand that you're doing other things for God.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted you to say. As a business, that's what I've noticed. He's given you so much patience.
Are you still recording this? Or
yeah. Because you know it, but you just don't say it. And then, so then the third one, how has he helped you with being the ministry support worker? Where's God in that relationship?
In the same areas as all the others, because I'm not a super patient person. You just said that.
Yeah.
I don't like waiting for things. I don't like when people can't come to the conclusion themselves.
Yeah.
I don't like people just sitting there and not using their gifts or being productive. I don't understand a lot of the time, not even most of the time, I don't understand how the people that we go to church with have been sitting in the church for 30 years but they don't know God, or they don't know, that they don't see the examples that Jesus set for them. I don't like, this sounds like I don't like a lot of things, but that's not the case. I don't like how sometimes the church is still, not just our church either, it's like all churches still judge people. I don't like that. I don't like how they just look and like, oh nah, I don't want to know you, you're the wrong colour, or you don't have the right amount of money in your bank account, or you're not driving the right car. No, I don't like any of that. So God helps me with all of that, because sometimes when I'm tired, my mouth says that.
And it's more that, it's not just that you don't like it, it's just the struggle that we have to struggle with, you know. We are there, like we learned from that sermon the other week, that unity is difficult. Like when you're trying to unite people from different ages, backgrounds, ethnicities, everything, to unify that is an absolute war, you know, it's a challenge.
Yeah, because people are stupid and sinful.
I mean, we all are that.
And we're stupid and sinful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even saying everyone else. Like, I'm stupid and sinful. I do some stupid, sinful stuff, right?
And that's what I want people to hear, is that only because of God, you are the person that you are now.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as people frustrate us, we don't judge them.
But I don't
Like-
want to be out here proclaiming like I'm the super
Yeah,
perfect Christian, because
exactly.
that's not even the case. Like honestly, this is like 3 parts of a little teeny snippet of my life. So I am probably more, actually. So I have a tattoo on my neck that says "Life changes, but you don't." Right, and my pastor just confronted that about. He just confronted it last night,
Yeah.
and then my brain was like, I still haven't changed, because I still think the same way, I still speak the same way, just my heart is different. That is what is Jesus has changed, my heart. So I know that I'm super simple and I still do super simple stuff every day, but I still talk the same. My memories are never going to change because I went through them. The life that I've lived up until today is never going to change because it's in the past. The way that I treat you is never going to change because I love you. Like, does that make sense? I still, and this is the super simple part, I still want to be the person that goes out and parties and goes to clubs and goes to drink forth all weekend. I still want to be the person that goes and gets the big bright flashy car with the V8 in it. I still want to be the person that dresses in all the bright clothes with all the bling on. And that's my sinful heart. So I have changed.
Definitely.
My heart has changed more than anything else.
Because you don't desire that.
Yeah.
You want it, but it's not your
Yeah,
desire.
I'm not sitting at home at night dreaming about it.
Yeah. Or putting all your money that you don't have into it.
Yeah.
That's the